Hi, I'm Jake.
And I'm Tim, and we are back with the Kingstone Comic Bibles. These things are phenomenal. Now, one thing I do want to point out to you now that we've had a little bit of time to comb over them is that the author in the very beginning is very upfront about how he makes these comics come to life. He says right here, the Kingstone Bible is a graphic adaptation of the Holy Bible. The graphic novel clings closely to and honors the biblical text, but is not a word-for-word adaptation. In a few places, conversations and occurrences are written that can be inferred or imagined from the biblical text and history. The graphic novel is penned and illustrated with the highest respect to the Holy Bible as a reliable and God-breathed document and Word of God. And one thing that we did discover is they do use the New Living Translation. So whenever the Bible is directly quoted, it is quoted from the New Living Translation. I enjoy the New Living Translation. I've read all the New Living Translation. But one of the times where it's most obvious that conversations are added, and that is in Volume 1 in the story of Noah. When you get to Noah, it builds this whole dialogue between Noah and his sons and his wife that just never happened. Now, one thing that you have to do, especially if you're giving these Bibles to your kids, just like when you're watching VeggieTales. Now, obviously, this is not on the level of VeggieTales, but sometimes in cartoons and different children's stories, that even like this new series, The Chosen, which is phenomenal. Watch it. Watch it.
Definitely.
It is phenomenal. They add dialogue in order to make the story more interesting or flow a little better. That's definitely done with Noah and the ark. For me, it was a tad disappointing, but I also understand why they do it.
Well, when you're talking about Noah, there's a lot of questions. It's a huge epic story.
And there's virtually no dialogue.
Yeah, none whatsoever. So
Right.
if you're wanting to make it as graphic as possible,
Right.
you can't really fault Kingstone for going above and beyond.
Not at all. So here's the approach you have to take when you utilize this Bible, is you treat it just like a study Bible. A study Bible will have tons of commentary, introductory notes, ideas and concepts that are clearly not part of the Bible. And because it's difficult to do in a comic Bible, to where it's difficult to say, okay, here's the introduction, here's this, because they're trying to make it into a story, he tells it up front, and you just have to know that going in. So you have to have a familiarity with the Word of God to understand, okay, this is the part where the author is giving us details and things that could have happened based on history, but this is an actual inspired scripture. So he does a phenomenal job, and it's just, this is so incredibly well done. I cannot stop being even more impressed with this the more I dive into it. So let's take a moment and dive in real quick.
So this is going to be the volume 1 out of 3, or volume 3 out of 3 volumes.
Yes, this is the New Testament, which a lot of people were asking about with our previous video. So we wanted to take a few moments just to kind of dive into some details of just the New Testament. Now, one thing, this is chronological. This entire Bible, all 3 volumes, is set up chronologically. So that means that some of the books and Bibles are going to be kind of interspersed with each other. So that can be a little confusing. I actually have a chronological Bible. This flows way better than a chronological Bible. So we're starting immediately with Luke. There's a young Mary and Joseph. There's the angel Gabriel that is announcing the birth of Jesus.
Fear not, because that dude's just scary.
Right. So let's get into some things that we actually want to see.
Yeah, we went ahead and actually pigeonholed several stories. You can see our markers in here.
Right.
That we thought would be cool to see what kind of artist adaptation they actually had, but also that are stories that we really enjoy ourselves.
And I'm just flipping through here just to let you kind of see some stuff as we get to the points that we want to highlight. Obviously, the Gospels is the light of the life of Jesus. And you will notice there's not a whole lot of added dialogue here because, well, the Gospels are nothing but dialogue. There's no need to add dialogue.
Jesus was kind of chatty.
Yes, he said a lot of stuff. And his apostles said a lot of stuff that Jesus was frustrated with as well. Now, that is a really cool scene. Jesus on his throne, the angels gathered around him. Just really, really super cool.
And just look at the detail. I mean, chiseled, ripped angels, but they really spent a lot of time making sure that...
And this is This is Matthew chapter 25, when the Son is accompanied by his angels, and the people come up to us and say, Lord, Lord, have we not prophesied in your name? And have we not done none of these wonderful things in your name? And he says, get away from me.
Depart from me.
Yeah. I never knew you, he said. That's,
Ouch.
yeah. That would be
All
embarrassing.
right, so here's our first tab. Where are we right here?
This is where Satan enters Judas in order to betray Jesus. And we have Satan kind of hovering around Judas.
That is a cool panel. Look at how freaky that is.
Yep. Well, that's supposed to be the big guy himself. So
yeah. So there's Judas at that point.
And
he had already entered him, but you can see him.
And I don't know that that's ever said of anyone else, that Satan actually entered a person. That's the level of deception that you would have to be to get to the point.
Right.
Yeah, to where you would betray Jesus himself.
Yeah.
Where Satan actually enters you. And then you see the betrayal of Jesus. Then there's the Last Supper. Continuing on without Judas, obviously, because he had left. And
yeah, literally the devil's riding on his shoulder, and
Right.
they're thinking that he went out to go buy groceries.
right. Yeah. Yep. And that's I'd actually forgotten about that. But yeah.
I mean, it's just the level of the spiritual warfare that's going on in the background.
And then Peter getting off on his flesh and cutting off Malchus's ear.
Where's the ear? I want to see it.
Yeah, Art, you let us down on this one. Where is
man.
the ear falling off and the blood gushing? Come on, you can do better.
Oh man,
We're kidding.
I'm missing it.
Yeah, but anyhow, so we're getting close to the point of the crucifixion. So there's a lot.
Wait. Who is that? Is that what, Caiaphas?
That has to be Caiaphas. I would
Oh, look at that face.
say. Yeah, he's not happy.
Such detail.
And the rooster crowing. So Peter is in denying Jesus. Now, one of the phenomenal things about this Bible is, as you pointed out in our last video, is even if you don't know what's going on, you just look at a few pictures and you can pretty much, if you have any familiarity with the scripture, you can dial in where you are.
Yeah, know exactly where it is.
So anyway, there's looks like Judas throwing away the silver.
Oh, there's 30 pieces.
Yeah, he realizes what he's done. I guess Satan's not in there anymore. And now we have Jesus getting beat.
Man.
Yeah, look at that cat o' nine tails. That is, yeah, that's gnarly.
So this is the part of the Bible that, it's always tough for me to read over this section.
Now, this is really interesting, because when they have Jesus carrying his own cross, is he only carrying part of it?
Right. Apparently that was the part that they would carry.
Yes.
Yeah, because it would be practically impossible to carry the entire large T-shirt.
And then we have Jesus crucified. Now, that's interesting because it looks like this member here doesn't go all the way above his head like a cross, more like a capital T.
And he's got some ropes on here.
Yep.
In addition to the nails.
Right. And he has that's one of those, we added that for your benefit things.
Yeah. Loincloth.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Very much.
Thank you.
So anyhow, they're giving him the gall.
Sponge.
Yeah, the sponge with the gall mixed with wine. He refuses
Oh,
it.
wait, look at that.
Yeah, the veil of the temple's torn from top to bottom, which that is a wimpy depiction of the veil. That is definitely not how thick the veil was.
You know what? They can only put so much in here, but
Yeah, they could have at least put some dimension.
look at that panel. The shadow.
Yeah, it's nice.
Golly.
So anyway, a tad disappointing with the veil of the temple being torn, but we understand.
All piercing aside.
Yep. And did we miss something here? Is this something we were wanting?
No, I think that's right where the crucifixion was.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. So,
yeah, we had to put tabs in here. So, in other words, there's just so much.
yeah, there's the resurrection, the angel, moving the stone.
Yeah, because you obviously need a bodybuilder angel to move a big old rock.
I mean, it seems legit to me.
Hey, you know, I'm not complaining.
And I love that he doesn't roll it away like...
Does he have a flat top? No, a helmet?
Yeah, he's wearing a helmet.
Man, I wish I had a helmet.
I love how he doesn't, it says the stone was rolled away, but they add a little juice to it.
Yeah, look at that guy.
Yeah.
It's like watching the world's strongest man
And
competition.
then the angel standing at the grave telling the ladies, he's not here, he's alive. All kinds of, now right here we're toward the end of John. where they go fishing and they can't catch, and Jesus says, cast on the other side. Then we have the road to Emmaus, and now we have Jesus ascending into heaven, which leads us into the book of Acts, which is the reason we put the bookmark here, is because in a few places in the Bible where there's a significant transition, they will put a couple of black pages just to let you know, hey, we're at a pivotal turn in the story here, and there's where we have the book of Acts.
Okay, so this is going to be right at the end of the four Gospels,
right,
where the angel is saying, hey, he's gone.
Right.
And then we transition
into the book of Acts, which actually, this is going to have elements of Acts in it. Because it's transitioning.
There's a tiny overlap.
Right.
Jesus speaks in the first few minutes.
This is basically Luke introducing himself. So this would be this would function like an introduction to the book of Acts. Luke is introducing himself. He's talking about the fact that he's a surgeon and that he's a doctor, and he's talking about the reason why he's compiling all this stuff. And then we get into the actual book of Acts. We have some callback to some conversations with Jesus, and the specific time where you're going to bring the kingdom to Israel, and he says this isn't the time. The only thing in the book of Acts I really want to focus on is a couple of little stories. Number one, you have to love the tongues of fire and the interpretation there, because I don't know if you've seen artist interpretations of the tongues of fire where they have these little wimpy little fire thingies just sitting on top of their head all politely and nicely.
Yeah.
These dudes' heads are on fire.
Dude, it's a world-changing event. There's 120 people in there, and almost immediately, 3,000 people get
That is what it looked like.
I believe it.
Yeah.
This is great.
Yeah, so that is probably the best interpretation. Now, again, we don't know what it looked like. I'm being silly partially, but, I mean, if I'm imagining it, I'm not imagining little wimpy, tiny little flames. It says tongues of fire. And those things just look incredible. So then we get into the lame man getting healed, but I know that some of you all probably want to see this. Just buy it. If you want to see it, buy it. We don't have time, okay?
Yeah.
We'll be here all day.
Oh, yeah.
Just buy these things. They were running a sale just a few weeks ago. I don't know if it's still intact. But all three of them were like $49.99.
That's a steal.
That is, you get them. Get them. $50 for all three of them. You cannot beat that. Getting beaten. I mean, there's just so much in here. It's just near impossible to cover it all.
All right, we skipped over something.
We're skipping nothing.
All right. Okay.
This is the story where Paul and Silas get put into prison because the woman with the spirit of divination was basically saying, these are servants of the Most High God. And Paul gets frustrated with her, and he casts that thing out, and he cost them their trade. And this is a depiction of a demon actually coming out of her, which is like, wow.
Yeah, this was something that I wanted to actually see, and they delivered. I mean, this is really dramatic.
But look, it looks like it's just one person, and then there's just like this just coming out of her, and it's violent. Look at this thing. It's not just coming out like, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to be in there. It's like,
whoops.
Yeah,
it's being ripped from the inside out.
Right.
This might have been a painful process.
And see, you can see the look in her eyes. You can see something is off with her. And then you can see the change on her face. Here you can see her kind of coming to herself. And so we have crazy lady and lady who is not crazy anymore.
Prison.
Yeah, then they're put in the prison.
Oh.
Yep, and the poop bucket, just in case you want to know what that is.
Yeah.
Good job, artist. That is fantastic. Thank you for including the poop bucket.
Hey, you know what? This is real.
Yes.
This is real.
Yes.
This is, you know what? This is not a PG-13 adaptation of the Bible.
Yeah.
When you're dealing with the Bible's crusty. The Bible's got all sorts of stuff in there.
Now,
it's going to make
really
you
neat too, because this is, this doesn't have the maps in it. Your average study Bible has the maps in it. So what they do is they make the maps part of the story, which is awesome. It's showing where Paul goes.
Man, just look at the detail.
Yes.
Man, this just made
And of course, here at this point, Paul is old. We're toward the middle end of the book of Acts. Some more demons, sons of Sceva. Yeah, those guys are really messed up.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Oh, wait, there's the sons of Sceva.
Yeah.
They're about to have a bad day.
Yep.
Wait a second. Are they naked? Oh, they're almost naked.
Yep. Thank you, artist, for sparing us.
Oh, they are not naked.
Yep.
Those are clearly
Covered buttocks.
not naked people.
Okay, great is Diana of Ephesus and all that riot and mess, and then they wind up back in prison. Paul spends a lot of time in prison.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know what? I rescind my earlier statement. This is kind of PG-13.
Yes. I was wondering where you're going with that. But anyhow, there's another map. Kind of cool. And we have got to hurry because we are running slick out of time.
All right, where are we now?
We are at the end of the book of Acts. Now, at the end of the book of Acts, this is super cool. Because at the end of the book of Acts, it leads us right into Romans without that little black page transition. And it gives us an introduction into Romans about Paul. Because, see, the book of Acts ends in Rome. So it just makes a seamless transition as to why while Paul is in Rome, it seamlessly transitions into Romans. And then it gives another one of those kind of introductions to where it explains Paul, where he's at, why he's in Rome. This is just really well done. And then Romans chapter 1 is intense. Talks about the wrath of God being poured out on all men because they're evil. And then it shows that evil. So you get to see the condition that Paul is addressing in man being a very ugly thing. We have murder, we have drunkenness, we have harlotry, we have anger and bitterness and rebellion. And I mean, this is that a callback to the garden? And so I'm assuming we're in Romans chapter 5. Yeah, see, that is just, man, that is just...
See, it's just a testament to the quality of what's being illustrated in here. When you can look at a picture.
You have a cross-reference within a picture, which is just so cool because this Bible doesn't have cross-references. It has pictures. So how is it going to do cross-references? This is your cross-reference. When it refers to Adam being deceived, it shows you the event of him being deceived in Genesis chapter 3. This is just good. Good job, Kingstone. This is phenomenal. We don't have time. I wish we did. We're already 7 minutes longer than I wanted to be. But
okay, I do want to point this out. You see right there. So that's where the start of Ephesians is.
So you have to be looking for it.
Yeah.
And this is when Paul's in prison with the poop bucket. And let's get to one of our markers because I just want to.
Hebrews. Okay, wow, that's intense.
Yeah, well, and this is the angels are ministering spirits to believers. So it shows how they would do that. And I'm assuming that is Jesus himself.
It would just about have to be.
And these are people bowing to him. Just phenomenal stuff. The book of Hebrews. It's a callback to the... Oh, look here. Here's a modern day guy in heaven with Jesus being shown the kingdom.
Speaking of modern day guys, what do we got here?
Well, this is the book of James, and James opens with scenarios that could be used in a modern day application, just like the entire Bible, but especially in James. Don't favor rich people, and if you want wisdom, ask God. So this is a person asking for God, people favoring rich people. Here is one of my favorites. It's a baseball game. The coach is getting upset, calling the referee an imbecile, and it says, anyone who considers himself a Christian but doesn't control his tongue is fooling himself, and his religion is worthless. So it's given a modern day situation where a Christian just might lose control of his tongue. Sports.
Oh, what?
Yeah, so
what? Really
good stuff. This is something I wanted you to see. Satan is a roaring lion, seeking whom may devour. That is, I'm already not wanting to run into a lion.
Yeah, especially that one.
But I'm definitely not wanting to run into that lion. But the good news is we have authority over that one.
Oh.
But he's a pretty powerful being. First, second, and third John, they jumble together, which is to be understood. Jesus riding on a white horse. Pretty slick. Harlotry and badness, and don't look there.
Wait, what did I want to see? Oh, a knee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
PG-13. The Archangel Michael, Oh man, the demons and the angels that
that's
fell.
just nasty.
These are the angels in prison that apparently, decided to have sex with humans and make those super Nephilim.
Oh man, you get weird there. It gets weird.
If it gets strange.
Welcome
Jesus
to the Bible, folks.
coming with the saints and the armies of God behind him.
Yep. And there we are to Revelation. We did hit Revelation in the first feature.
So we're not going to really do that.
'Cause there are some scenes in that book. Oh man, they're fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you want to see those, go buy it.
Yep.
Yeah, buy it now and thank us later.
But this is just epic. There's Paul in prison.
And the
bucket. So, as Jake normally says, long story short, these things are awesome. You have to know what they are. Going in, if you're giving them to your kids, you have to be prepared to tell them that this operates like a study Bible, and there are details in here. It's be really difficult to do in a comic book Bible and keep it interesting. To have this big break and this big long dialogue of stuff that no one's going to be interested in.
Well, and when you're talking about comic books, you think, okay, this is for a child,
right?
And while you could give this to a child, this is going to have to go with it's going to have to go with a lot of explanations,
right? So this thing is awesome. One thing we did miss is the rapture, which we don't have time to go back into. It actually shows the people floating up in the skies. It actually shows the graves popping open. Buy it. That's all we can say. We don't have time to give you every little detail. We may come back and visit book 1 and 2, but I really felt book number 3 was really what everyone wanted to see with the epistles and the different things like that. Phenomenal. So pick it up. I don't know if they're still on sale or not. They're usually somewhere like $75 or something, but they're $49.99 on sale. There are actually other resources available. They have apologetics. They have how the Bible was preserved.
Like a poster. You can actually take some of this artwork and hang it on your wall.
Put it on your wall. If you want Malchus's ear getting cut off.
You got like a blank spot right there.
If you want Malchus's ear getting cut off, the artist may be able to make that happen in poster form for you. This is incredible.
I want that ear.
Yes. So anyhow, there you have it.
All right. Well, sign us off.
Life is always sweeter when you start off your day with a heaping helping of PT&J. You all have a great day and God bless you.
See you later.